I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Man, that is a,
On this
that is a
clown.
sad clown.
Proud of my address.
Dude, that's pretty good.
This is The Gloom, bringing you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha packs, exploring their F3 experiences and finding those sticky elements that create the glue in the gloom.
Shout out to our sponsors. Major Team Mortgage, Omaha Laser Dentistry, Exclusively Eye Care, Liberty Core Real Estate, Avier Wealth Management, and Apex Men's Clinic. We appreciate their support.
What's it like to love your dentist? Well, you're about to find out, where healthy smiles go beyond your teeth. No drilling, no needles, and no anxiety. Relax, it's Omaha Laser Dentistry. Welcome to better. At Omaha Laser Dentistry, Dr. Bullenparty uses the Solea laser, a CO2 laser that's used in all of his day-to-day patient care. He provides thorough exams, assessments, and treatments for things like snoring, tethered tissue, and extractions like wisdom teeth, as well as other surgeries. Check him out today at omahalaserdentistry.com. Discounts may be available for F3 Omaha members.
Now let's get back to the gloom.
All right, and we're back. We got two IT guys on this call here.
Yeah.
We just, I think, solved all the world's problems with technology, and we got this thing working here. But excited to get this man's story out there, and man, just excited to spend some time, getting to know you, and also just giving the guys a chance to get to know you. We got our man Stranglehold on, and it's good to see you, brother. Happy Friday. And if you would just take us back to kind of the EH story, how'd you get started in F3? And then would love to kind of hear about the first workout and then how you got the nickname Stranglehold.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, happy Friday. I am a Gloom listener, so I'm really excited to be on, man. So thank you, Clay, for doing this.
Yeah.
So my story, how I came out, my original EH, was the first EH was probably Nugent. I actually reached out to him and was like, "Hey, man, you see all this stuff that Wellwood's doing? It's Sparty." And he goes, "Well, yeah, I'm doing it too." He had just come back to town. "Yep, I'm doing it too. You need to get out there." And with my schedule at work, I started work at 2:30 in the morning, and so I just could not do it. Well, eventually my schedule changed, and Levy and a couple of the Sarpy guys, Girl Dad, Baby Shark, I knew all of them through Columbia Kill. Well, they say, "Hey, we offer this down in Sarpy." I said, "Okay, well, it was like, another excuse. Let me get out of the holiday season, and I'll think about it." And so it was shortly after Sweet passed away, or Nugent passed away. Sweet reaches out and says, "Hey, I'm doing F3, and I think it would really help you if you got out here." Well, the guys that really know Sweet, like growing up with him, he's that guy that would sleep till 10:30. So it's like, okay, he's going out and doing this, and I know I can get out and do it. So just happened to run into Girl Dad. Because it was like a pizza night, and I just was joking, say, "Hey, work out tomorrow." And he said, "Well, we're gonna be at the sanitarium, but it's actually at the Home Depot because of it's highlights 1 year." So then I reached out to Levy and said, "Hey, well, just tell me before I get into this, what's going on." Came out. I ended up going out to sanitarium that day down at the Home Depot, and just got crushed. And High Life laid it on really good, but I loved it. Firewalker was carrying me up the hill practically during the beat down. Just telling me, "Keep moving. Don't stop. Just keep moving." And but I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. So
That's
that
awesome.
was the whole start to getting F3. It was a long EH, and there were a lot of people involved, and I can't thank them enough.
Yeah. Well, and I think the High Life anniversary at Home Depot all originated from like one beat down they showed up at Sanitarium and there was too much snow to even get in the parking lot, right? Or something like
Yep.
that. So was it wintertime when you started?
It
Was it cold
was
out?
February,
Okay.
Groundhog's Day.
Nice.
Is when it was. So yeah, it was cold, and that was the other thing. I get a text from Sparty, and like I think he's joking with me, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you posted today," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's great." And then he calls me. What do you mean you posted today? Ken's in town, or Zags, that's Nugent's father. Ken's in town. Sweet, we're all together. You should have been out there with us, And I'm sorry, man, but so then
Yeah.
I did the main stage with them the next day to make up for it. So
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, talk us through I guess, how'd you know all those guys? Did you grow up playing ball with those guys, or just grew up in the same neighborhood? Or talk us through kind of the relationship there to Nugent and Sparty and some of those guys.
So, well, Nugent, we went to Bryan together. Well,
Mhm.
we played Pee Wee ball together, junior high, and then we went to Bryan, Omaha Bryan together. And that was the every weekend. I mean, that was our crew,
Wow.
And there were some other guys, a few that we haven't been able to rope into F3, but there's a few that have come out too. Um, Now Sparty, we had played against Mark growing up, um, and then eventually Nugent played baseball with him. Great, they were extremely close friends, and it's I look back when everything happened, and there were two people that popped in my head that excluding Chris's immediate family, and it like coincidentally was Sweet and Sparty. And like those are the only two people I want to talk to that day. So like it's very special being with them
Yeah.
in the game.
And it sounds like you stayed in close contact with Nugent even after when because he wasn't living here for a while, right? And then he came back, or
Yeah, I stayed in contact with that. So that's the thing. Like Chris was living the life we all wanted to live, and then like I was back here making babies. Not that I regret any of that, but I was making babies, starting a family, and he's like he'll come in town on a random Wednesday night and want to know why I can't go out till 1 a.m. But
Yeah.
yeah, we stayed in close contact. I know Sweet was much better than I was about traveling and all that. But yeah, I mean, he would come to town, and it was like he had his agenda, which we always thought was like a joke, and then we found out it was a real thing. Like he really just had this schedule that everybody had to fit into, and
Mm.
uh, but it's good.
Yeah. It's one of these things, and before we hopped on, we were talking about the Mark and Taylor Kipis run, and I actually just a little bit ago was talking to Urkel. I don't know if you know him, but we were talking about his father passed away in 2022, and death is one of those things that's unfortunately a reality of life, right? You can't have life without death, but then it's sort of these moments where we experience it, firsthand, especially like you think about Nugent and how sudden and unexpected and just, the circumstances there. And so just kind of curious for you, you know, Chris obviously kind of started EH, or Nugent started the EH process, and then we lose him. Right. And I mean, did that sort of spur you on a little bit more to like, okay, I want to get around some guys that
Yeah.
knew him, or talk us through that, if you would, just kind of how that event maybe impacted your motivation to get involved.
Yeah, so the whole thing is, so my dad passed away a month before everything happened with Nugent. for about a month and a half. And so like there was a group of guys who were like, like I was saying, sweet square, like they're like, you need this, you're not gonna regret it type thing. And they were right. I mean, 100%. That's actually how I got the name Stranglehold too, because it's a Nugent song.
Okay.
Like I was like, man, this is a pretty, tough name. I like this, so that's my secret. I try and leave that piece of it out. But yeah, it's a Nugent song. I'll let Girl Dad and Knots fight that one out on who gets credit for that one.
For sure. Well, yeah. As you're thinking about, it's funny because just hearing this initial story, right? Like clearly the fitness was part of the deal, but not like your main reason for being there. But just kind of curious what, from a fitness standpoint, how's that journey been for you? I mean, you grew up playing sports and, did you kind of do the pogo 40 when you started having kids, making babies, that sort of thing? And kind of where you at today?
Yeah. No doubt I needed the fitness, piece. No doubt. I mean, like most guys, it was like, hey, it's been 2 months. I've lost 20 pounds. I needed it. It's, where you look at old pictures, it's like, holy smokes, like you were holding one of the kids and it's like, my goodness. So yeah, I really there wasn't even a pogo. It was just, I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
You start small and it's like, okay, I know if I can run like to this mailbox in the neighborhood, I've got like half a mile in, if I could just run that whole time, I'm doing good. And then it was just baby steps, and now it's matured into where, like right now, I'm dealing with the hamstring thing, not to sound like a baby, but like I haven't had an injury since I was probably 18 years old. But like you miss out on a pre-run, and it's like I feel like I'm missing half of the workout. So it is funny how you transition into, and like that, it's not just the physical, like the mental side of it, and not being able to get out and burn that steam. Like for me, it's just been a great therapy, that piece to it too.
For sure. Well, so you posted Tuesday Sanitarium, Wednesday main stage. So were you all in? I mean, did you go? What was your progression like?
Yeah, I still remember Troop led the steel mill on Thursday, and there was like 5 of us there because it was 8 degrees. But we were like huddled up in the pavilion there.
Yep.
And that's when everyone was joking, like, all right, if you can do this on this day, you'll be fine. You'll come out. So I actually remember telling Sparty on Friday, I was like, man, I slept in. I feel like such a loser. He's like, no, that's just a fart sack, buddy. He's like, that was all of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So how long till you started like pre-runs and that sort of thing? Did it take you a while to pick up on that, or were you right in on that too?
It did. And like the some of these goofballs that start be like, when you first come out, it can be a little, it's like, they don't just pre-run. Like, it's like, some of them run hard, and I'm like, why would you run prior to a workout anyway? Like most guys feel. But like I said, it took me probably 4 months before I'm like, yeah, I think I can start doing this pre-run stuff. And then toward, so I started in February. So like once November rolled around, I'm like, okay, I can do a turkey trot, can do all that. And then I got it was John Claude and Sparty, and I was like, hey, if you guys need a filler for this Mortimer thing, I think I'm willing to try it out next year. And they're like, nope. They sent out a group text, hey, welcome to the team.
So you're doing it this year.
I got a runner.
What'd you think of Mortimer? I've heard some great stories about that, but what was your perspective on that?
That is probably one of the like coolest experiences I've had. Like just to share that with the group, and it's so beautiful out there. And then like being in F3, you're meeting guys who were like, we celebrated our 6th year. Like these guys have been in since the start of the darn thing,
Yeah.
and so that was really cool too. Like they're bringing up stuff that you read in what's
Back
the
blast or something.
yeah, that's the book
Oh, Q source.
news source. Yeah,
Or free to lead, or
gosh,
yeah.
yeah, free
Yeah.
to lead. So I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a great time, and I know each year it's like, hey, can we get in our team? So we actually had 2 teams this last year, which was fun. We all ran in pairs, and it was great. It's quite the experience.
Yeah, that's been a bucket list thing of mine. I got to get approval to go, but man, every time I see those guys, I'm so jealous because it just looks like this is an amazing experience, right? You go and there's I think it's what you stay overnight one night and then the race is kind of the next day or
Yeah, so like this last year, we flew in, we got in Friday morning. A couple of the guys went a day before, but the majority of the team, we got in Friday morning. We started midnight that night, and then we finished up. We finished up around 4:30ish. Like I said, we were in pairs, so I got paired with a setter.
Oh,
He's a little younger than I am,
yeah,
like 5 years younger.
yeah,
And if that 5 years was showing, and there's a kid, we're running in this, and it's our leg, we're the first leg, and this kid runs by us like we're standing still, and he's like, man, let's go get him. And I was like, no.
like you go get them, yeah.
We're like 3 miles in. I'm like, no, let him go. Because when you got guys like Red Ranger still had to go, Hugo had to go. It's like, we got a pretty good team. I think we're going to be fine. Well, we found out this kid was like, he was a state champion cross country.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, good. But yeah, poor pace setter got paired up with me, so he probably could have posted some better times. But
well, and is it like market to market? Like how long are the legs? They're 6-7 miles or longer? Or?
Yeah, I say they're like close to about a 10K each.
Okay.
The longest one I believe was like a 10-miler this year.
Yeah.
But like some of them are, so like the first year I did one, it was like a 5K, but it was like straight up.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it's a 900-foot climb, and you did that in the first mile and a half. So that's the equalizer.
Yeah, for sure.
Is the hills for sure, and then everybody does 3 of them. So you get 15 to 20 miles roughly.
Nice. I love that. It's so cool to just hear all the different ways, guys could get involved on that first F piece. And a lot of those are second F as well, right? You've got, pre-runs. And then if you're going to spend any amount of time with guys, traveling like that and just the bonds that you make in that space. Yep. Talk me through for you coming into the group sort of under the circumstances it sounds like you had some connections kind of all across the region, right? You knew some guys in Sarpy, you knew some guys maybe more central or west Omaha, but how'd you go about building relationships with other guys throughout the group?
Well, yeah, like you said, I mean, the Starpy piece was really easy. Like that co-op, like that St. Columkill group.
Mm-hmm.
I swear we could do, if we did a workout there every day with all the guys from SAC, we'd have like 20 people out there every morning.
Yeah.
So that was really easy. But that is the cool thing about Mortimer, because I don't get out west near enough. And that was a good way to bond with some of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But really, like a few of the Creighton guys, just knowing them, that was so. Anytime I go out west, there's always a warm face that I know them more than F3. But yeah, I'd say like that's the biggest thing with like with the Mortimer type second F. Like there are chances are, I mean, my buddy Crawl, it's hard to get him to see him out in the gloom anymore unless it's a Saturday morning running. but I know like I could call him and say, hey, you want to meet on a Sunday, and he'd be down, and that wouldn't happen without like a Mortimer type experience.
For sure. What about just some of the kind of more common like cafeteria after workouts? You've been able to hit a lot of those. Has that been a kind of helpful place to build some of those relationships?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm a big fan of on-site coffee too.
Yeah.
Like I love that. Usually like I gotta really work pretty early, so like that's the difference in me having a coffee or not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because once you and I don't know, you don't even have to do this for a long time to understand how important that time is. That cafeteria time to your point. Um, but yeah, that bonding time. I mean, we would sit in the Bellevue West parking lot. Sometimes the cafeteria would, would last longer than the workout.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
For sure. It makes a difference too, when there's no drive, right? It's for whatever reason, even if the place is really close, it's something about getting in your car and having to go. You're like, maybe I'll just head home and get there early, help with the morning routine, or, but if it's on site, you're kind of like, oh, this is easy. I don't even have to go to my car, right? It's kind of,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
right here.
there's a group. Until we got our Start Beat chat that we call ourselves the baristas, and
Right.
we like we all plan out who's going to help. Like there was a VQ at Bell Tower today, and
Mhm.
Corver needed some help, and it was like 4 guys right away. Yep, I'm on it. So just knowing how important that piece to the experience is.
Yeah, for sure. What, curious, just with the relationships with some of the guys that, like with Sweet and with Sparty, what are your thoughts? Like, from my perspective, I would think being able to be in F3 with those guys has just made you even closer. But what's been your experience with those guys and your relationships there?
Just outside of that three, or
Yeah, yeah. Or
I
just,
so this is I'll say this about Sparty, because I when you talk about people that really you never want anything bad to happen, but like Mark, Sparty, and Sweet, like I learned a lot more about them after what happened and
mm,
how like selfless they both are. Um, I got so much closer with Sparty, and I'm very fortunate for that. And he like whether I want like he drags me along. Like the Mortimer was an example, but like he made me talk at the Brick Builder, the Nugent Brick Builder event this last winter, and it wasn't like an ask. It was like, hey, I need you to do this, and helping with the Brick Builder event that's coming up at Boys Town. And I told him that before, like how like I appreciate that more than he knows.
mhm.
But Sweet is like he is Nick. Like if we need Nikki or Chris's fan, like he's Billy is the guy, and he's just he's like I just learned how lucky I am to have him as a friend. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, they're both like really incredible guys, and I can't stress it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something to be said about like those people that are close enough to they can push you, right? A little bit, get you out of your
Yeah.
comfort zone, and then you get to benefit from the growth and ultimately the experience of that. I would agree. Sparty's really got a knack for that. He's done that for me quite a few times too. So that's a skill of his. I wonder if he knows that he has that. If he's doing,
Well, yeah, and he hates that attention too.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, I'm curious too, as you think about, the second F, and I don't know, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but something Sweet, and I haven't interviewed Sweet yet, so I'll have to get his thoughts on this because he's kind of funny. There's been a couple times where he's like, well, this is kind of getting annoying, right? Getting all this attention to Nugent, and I don't know, just as you think about just the space and all the different relationships, and what has that been like? Kind of, you have this guy who is being, like, we give him a lot of attention, a lot of recognition, and he was a close friend of yours. And I mean, how have you, has that been helpful, or has that, I don't know, just kind of curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, and it's because everybody handles all that differently, and like I love it. I love seeing the flag passed around. I love joking with those guys when we haven't seen the music flag posted, like, it's missing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Block Party got a CG flag, and I remember Sweet Texas Furry and I saying, why did I not get that flag? Like, that should
Yeah.
be my flag. But no, I love it. Like, selfishly, it's just really special. I said this before, and this is no offense to like any other friends of mine or anything like, but I don't know anybody else that would have had that kind of legacy to make that kind of an impact either. So.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? You sort of like, you're like, okay, well, when I go, are they gonna, like, there probably won't be a plague flag and like, it was the right, he was the right guy who had impacted people in just the right way.
And he's like the model of like growing up, if you will, because and I've said this before at a couple of workouts, like, he was probably not the model citizen in high school, or like, the refs all knew him by name, and it probably wasn't because his talent is liked at the time. Yeah, he was kind of a bad boy out there.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think the other question I would have for you too is, you're thinking about, so the other kind of layer, right? The relationships, we think about it with the second F, and just kind of your, relationship with your M and your 2.0s, and just curious how those things are going. If you've seen any changes, improvements, as you've been getting involved in F3, and then would love to kind of know what do they think of this kind of crazy cult that you're in.
Yeah. It's like a love-hate, but I'll say that I have 4 kids. They are 16, 13, 10, and 1 year old. And so the 1 year old, I actually quit. So I quit drinking. So I quit drinking. It was Titan Alley. It was the 1st of January. Sorry, the 2nd of January. I don't care. I don't mind telling you, but I swear I'm still drunk that morning. And I just felt like just horrible. We went out on guys from work, watched football, blah, blah, blah. Came home, talked to my wife. Don't remember talking to me last. Do you remember the conversation last? I don't even remember talking to you last. And it was like, we're having a kid. Like, it's time to grow up. And so, like, the timing of F3, it all like happened at once. And there's some like really positive people that are also that have given up drinking, that have been there to encourage. So like that, you're talking about some other second F stuff. Like, there's been a lot of positivity there. But yeah, I mean, January will be 2 years for that.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, it was, it needed to happen. And I really do feel like, had I not been doing F3 also, it would have been really easy to just walk away from things. And I really do feel like that helped kind of like right size. Like, you go to you hear a COT, and maybe you act it out for a week or two, but that was kind of a wake up call. Like, maybe some of the stuff I've been hearing in the morning, like, maybe it's the real deal. Like, do I want to change or not? Because you meet so many incredible people. And that's it too. It's kind of like if I have a good boss or a bad boss, and I can learn from both of them. Like you meet these guys, and it's like, man, I really like what they do or how they interact, and um. But yeah, I just that for me, from work, from my own life balance, it's been really good, and my wife knows that too. She used to get a kick out of like Thursday nights. I'd be brewing coffee for my pellets hour. Like that was my thing Thursday night. And I was worried more about that than the workout. So she enjoys that.
I love it. It's funny. I think a lot of guys would identify with that sort of journey. I think for whatever reason, this seems to be a group that is really supportive to guys that are trying to change any habit, right? Whether it's how you're eating or substance drinking, whatever. And so I think we tend to draw guys that are making changes in those areas. So kudos to you for recognizing that. I think it's, and I think similarly to you, it's like my wife knows it's good for me, but it also can disrupt the family, sort of rhythm, right? If I'm,
Yes.
Getting up too early and passing out before, I should
Right.
when it's nighttime, so it's definitely a balance there. Curious what your kids think of it all, or have you brought any of them to 2.0 workouts or?
So I have tried to get my oldest daughter. I mean, she's 15.
Yeah,
I tried to get her to do like a cross country or something. She's like, "No, I'm good. I will
not
do
doing it.
basketball and soccer, and I'm done."
Yeah.
Okay. My son, I've actually taken him out a couple times. He's been out on like Labor Day, like when we've done the MRFs.
Yeah.
Um, he's been to the steel mill. Samataj. So his name's Sam. Samataj is his F3 name.
Nice.
So he he's really getting into weightlifting. He's in 8th grade now, so he wants to get into weightlifting. And it's
Okay.
like we go back and forth. It's like all right, you can lift weights, or you can do push-ups, and
Yeah.
there's other things you can do. There's dumbbells in the basement that you haven't picked up in a few months.
Yeah.
But no, he enjoys it. And I do think, like, a lot of guys have said this, but like when your kids see that, like you make that a priority, I think that speaks volumes to them too. Like, yeah, put the tablet down and go get outside and do something. Take the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
And so like my 9-year-old, I don't worry about her at all, but she is 100 miles an hour.
She's doing her own thing. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I think just letting your kids see it, like you said, right? It's a priority to get moving, to do something, and that has a huge, huge impact for sure. Yo, Gloom listeners, it's The Plague, and today I'm talking about getting your finances as fit as your physique. Our very own F3 Omaha brother, Jean-Claude, aka Michael Pfluger, at Avior Wealth Management, specializes in building personalized financial plans. He understands the journey you walk in life as a man of faith, safeguarding your family and creating a legacy. Jean-Claude is ready to help you plan your finances with intention so that you can live with purpose. And that's just the beginning when you work with the Avior Wealth team. Visit avior.com/F3. That's AVIOR.com/F3 and see how Michael can guide your financial journey today. Well, you mentioned St. Columkill and kind of the community there. And, so I want to get your kind of thoughts or story from a third F perspective. What's been your experience with kind of the third F or developing your faith?
So my wife actually, she was teaching at Columbia. The kids all went to school there. My oldest goes to Omaha Gross. And so like I went to St. Stanislaus grade school. And then I went to Bryan after that. So like I've always had like I was raised Catholic. I mean, you named Alter Sturber. If there was a snowstorm, I got the call from the church to walk. I lived a block away, and I walked. And I did that. So like I've always I'm probably not like I'm very good at using a baby as an excuse as to why I can't. Well, I don't want us to do mass about a baby.
Yeah.
We're probably only good if I sit alone.
Right.
Like they're all excuses. But I do think the older you get, and I don't know if this will sound bad, but like as long as you are practicing something and you believe, it's so important. And it's not just Sunday morning. And that's probably what like I really like about this group is just a quick, good morning. Thanks for the day. Thanks for, thanks for helping me start the day. Thanks for helping me end the day. Like it's been a really good refresher. And it's funny, like you meet people who are so much stronger with that piece. And it's kind of like I was saying earlier, like you just pick up from them. And like one of my favorite beatdowns was Good Friday. This was 2 years ago. It was Uncle Jesse at the Bell Tower. And it was like one of the coolest beatdowns. And like we went through the stations, and it was like he'd go through, Jesus has taken down for the cross. Now run. It was like, all right, now we'd run. And but it was very impactful. And like the guys who are deeper in faith, like their prayers are just so good too. But we talked about the Titus run, Swiper yesterday. Like you had thought of where Preacher was up there. So yeah, it is. It's just a good reminder of, how thankful we should be, and how important it is to pass it along to at home. Like I always think it's funny. Like I'll try and mix in a little bit of that if I feel COD, and I just feel still underqualified. But I do like to bring it up.
You mean like sharing COT like with family, like if the message is a good fit, like
So that too. And my wife's really good about, hey, remember when you were talking about this a few weeks ago? Yeah. I do.
Yeah, were you ever going to do anything with that, or you just thought, I get the same
It's-
thing. I think you're spot on. I think sometimes the picture we have of church in our culture, right, is like this Sunday thing, or maybe it's Sunday and Wednesday thing, right? But I think what we get to experience at F3 is like this daily, time, right, where we're with people sharing life, building relationships, and then sort of at the end of that, lifting up prayers, right, to a higher power. And I think to me, it's funny because it's like what we have in F3 is really, in many ways, what I think God probably wanted the church to be like, right? It's just people that, we're friends, we care about each other, and we're kind of shoulder to shoulder supporting and lifting people up in challenging times or praise, times of praise. And I think it's just, I really love, you see guys that start to get comfortable praying, even just like, how do you say a prayer, right? Especially with, like you said, some guys that are really experienced, and it can be intimidating to pray. But I think it's just a cool thing that I certainly don't see happening at least not at my church, right? They don't often ask me to get up there and say the prayers, but
Me either. You're okay.
yeah, I would be curious as you think about, the other piece, right, with the third F is like this community service thing, and you see all of the stuff that we've been able to do, sort of in honor of Nugent, but supporting kids in the community. And I don't know, talk us through that. I mean, have you had a chance to participate in that? And I don't know, maybe this is your chance to give sort of a plug for this year's Brick Builder event.
Well, I can definitely give a plug for that. did you know that is open to everyone? That could be co-ed. That's going to be held on October 5th, Saturday. But yeah, no, I'll say this with like the scholarship dollars and all that. And the first recipient was an Omaha Bryan grad.
Cool.
And that was not by design. It just had like the applicants went through and it was like, oh my gosh, man, stars align. There's Omaha Bryan guy, like, and Donnie was very qualified for it. Like it was really cool. So he actually came back and ran the brick builder with us. Like he was on our brick builder team. And
Nice.
so that was really cool. And then, because Sparty keeps me up to date on who most of the wires are. But yeah, so yeah, that's my brick builder plug. Probably wasn't the best one.
That's all right. And tell me too, I think you're doing a halfway house, right? Which is like the weekend before. Talk us through the halfway house that you got planned.
Yep. So the halfway house this month, and it's the 29th of September, and I actually so Brian's baseball coach lives right up the street from me. Trey lives up the street from me. And so Nugent's anniversary is 30th. And so the 29th, we're going to launch from Brian's baseball field. And obviously we'll have a ruck and everything. The ruck, the 5K, the 10K, and then the half will all be led by a guy from Brian.
Nice.
And we'll share stories. But yeah, we'll launch from home plate. We'll finish at home plate. So it should be a pretty special morning. I'm looking forward to that. And I told you earlier about this hamstring thing. Like, it doesn't matter. I will run a half marathon that day.
There you go. Is that the anniversary of his passing or his F3 anniversary?
30th. Yes. Yep. Aston is the 30th. Yep. Sorry.
Okay. Got it. I was trying to remember that. Got it. Well, that'll be cool, and we'll make sure this episode gets aired before those events. So, this can really be the lead into that.
Appreciate that.
The other thing we like to talk about with guys is just kind of our mission statement, right? Is to invigorate male community leadership. So we do that. We give guys opportunities to do a VQ or to lead a site or even to lead some of these third F sort of community events, but. Talk us through your experience with those things. Do you remember your VQ at all? What was that like? Would be curious to get your thoughts on that.
Yep. So it took me about 5 months to do my VQ. I was it was 6 months because Bell Tower. I did it right when Bell Tower launched. It was like 3 weeks after Bell Tower launch. I was first VQ there.
All right. There you go.
And you go through the stages like everybody does, and it's like, man, I just want to get the thrasher of a beat down. And then you figure out that like, the COT is probably the most important part of the beat, of the workout. But it actually went pretty good. Like I didn't need a winky or anything like that. Like I felt really good about that. Well, then girl dad starts tapping my shoulder like already in the fall, and it's like, hey, I think maybe you might be able to take the flag here. And it's like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm that guy. I don't know if I ever want the commitment. And then we just like string rolls around. It's like, Sarah's pregnant. I don't know. But it was good. It was one of the best decisions I made was taking that on. It's such a cool honor. Like you talk about planting and growing, and like it has a whole new meaning. Like you literally are planting and growing when you do that. That's what I liked about Bellevue too. Like there's so much room for growth down there. I don't know if it's off it. I would joke about this. Farva, we joke about like that Bellevue area, like the working class area. Like it's harder to get these people out.
Yeah.
Uh, but like for me, yeah, that planting growing, it was so literal. It was such an honor to put that thing in the ground, represent each site. So that, yeah, like being a site Q was such a neat honor. And I can't thank Girl Dad enough for that.
Well, and you almost, you wonder if down there maybe that's where we need an evening site, or who knows, some other creative way to get guys involved, or
Yeah.
yeah, that's always, you never know, right, until you get a couple guys
Yeah.
that are deeply embedded in the community. So you live in Bellevue technically, right?
So I am right on the line. So I'm technically a pillion.
Okay.
But I mean, I am right there. I mean, I can, um, right. I'm technically going like Tapio South would be our school. You know, if that's gives you an
Okay.
idea.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, I mostly coast, um, Catamount. I'm pretty much I've probably been there more than Bell Tower, honestly, since I've given up the flag. Uh, but that's just being selfish. I want to hit a couple other Friday sites.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
that's
pit
natural.
the pit's like 6 minutes from home. So that's cool. And I could actually like I've ran there before for workout one time.
Yeah.
It gets
Well,
that close.
talk us through, as you were site Q at Bell Tower. You kind of told us a little bit about on-site coffee, right? So prep the night before, but anything else that you feel like you learned as a site Q, maybe advice you would share with other guys listening?
So I was actually I listened to G Strings. Cool. That's the last one I listened to. I actually like I love listening to these because like usually they're close to 50 minutes to an hour, somewhere in there. Like
Mhm.
for a guy that runs about 10K roughly around that time, it's
Yeah.
good. A nice pace.
You're the target audience, brother. I don't know if you knew that.
I love like, and you just get to know these guys. But I'll say this, like G String, Busser, ICB, Low Flow, like all the guys who pretty much took flags around the same time. Like you learn, you can learn from them and share. Like man,
Mhm.
how do you post back blast? Like I just cannot figure this thing out unless they're like, all right, let's still do this again, Strangle. Here's what you do. Like, uh, but yeah, and then it's just little stuff. Like I would go to queue at their sites and they would reach out to me like on Sunday, like right after man, I'm so excited to have you out. It's like, okay, I need to be more welcoming. Like I need
Yeah.
to do that. Like, hey, I really appreciate you coming out. What do you
Yeah.
need? You know, so that was cool. Like you get tighter with that group. Um, kind of develop like a shield lock type thing with those other guys at the
Mm.
time.
That's a good way to, almost like you have like your class of site Qs almost,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of,
Yep.
build those relationships in there. Yeah. Yeah. I learned that they reach out to you the day before to, for two reasons: to make sure you don't need anything, but also to make sure you didn't forget you're on the schedule, right?
Right. Yep.
Oh, I love it. Well, and then talk to us about Corver, and just handing off the flag, and kind of how that planning went.
So Corver, like he's the Bellevue guy we're going for.
Mhm.
And so I had known Corver prior to F3, and he's a WS grad. The guy was like most people know, but he was like an all-stater, awesome basketball player there, football. And so like when he started coming out, like I like knew I'm like this is gonna be my guy, like I already
Mhm.
knew it. He lived 5 minutes from the site. But like I was saying, I also know him outside of F3. And I kind of shared my story on like what it did for me as at home, development wise. And I knew like it would be really good for him too. And that's another reason I wanted him to do it. Because I do like I do care for him. No, I don't want to say it. I care for Jeff more than just like a side cue. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So he was definitely my guy. I wasn't going to take no for an answer. So I'm really excited that he's doing it now. Girl Dad and I still give him a hard time if he forgets to get the pre-blast out there in time. Yeah, we definitely ride him pretty hard, but it's all in fun.
Yeah, you've set some standards, right? You don't want him to
and
make
the
site
standards are simple. You tag the Bellevue leader whenever you can in the pre-blast. We'd say never respond it.
Yeah.
Although he did get Faux Woodard to respond to Bellevue West, like parody account.
Oh yeah.
Which I think he found a friend for that. I still stand by that because he ignored me for a straight year.
That's funny. Yeah. I remember when we first were going into Sarpy and we were trying to figure out, okay, who can we tag on Twitter that's going to give us, and it never worked. You wonder if anybody's even managing those social media accounts for some of the city accounts, but
City of Bellevue definitely ignores us.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I'm curious, as you think about, just your journey, and you've got your family, right? You've got a wide range of kids. You've got a lot of experience, just as a man, as a leader in the community. Any advice for guys, just as you're thinking about life and how to be a good husband, father, friend? Anything in that space that you would be willing to share?
Oh boy, life advice from
Stranglehold. Yeah, that's
we're all in trouble.
Yeah.
No, I would, the listening piece. I would say like don't get complacent, please. Like comfortable is a good feeling, right? Like being comfortable is cool. But like you should always want to get better yourself, learn more. But like if I'm talking about as like a home life type person, I actually heard this in a COT, and it really stuck with me. And it was you're not the main character anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Crankbait. And this is at Beltar. You're not the main character. Like, you're the supporting actor now. Like, you support your family. You support your kids. You support your wife. Like, that's what you're here to do. And that like just hit home so much. And so I've really tried to shift that direction. Maybe I cut out, and this is since we had the baby, like maybe I cut out, maybe I don't need to post 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe I post 4, 3, maybe I make a run in late at night or something like that. But I thought that was such a cool way to put it. It's like, now you're the supporting actor, man. You're not the main character anymore. Like, that is so cool. So that would be my, like easy way to look at it. Like,
yeah. No, I think that's so helpful. And I think for me, one of the things I'm working on or trying to figure out is like different seasons seems like I have to pull back a little more, or there's maybe a little more flexibility, or, we're getting ready for baby number 3 here in a few weeks. And so no doubt I will need to slow down. But like those first couple of days where you're like, man, I'm not posting because of this baby. Like, I think and then you kind of have to remember, right? I'm not the main character, right? It's not the story's not about me anymore, that's a really helpful way to think of that. So appreciate you sharing.
Oh yeah. Get a running stroller.
I have. Yep. I got. Okay. Yeah. I've got one of those. I'll put my weight vest on, and I've been doing that.
I got I was yelled at for using it too soon.
Oh yeah,
like, maybe you're not even ready for that yet. Okay, you're right.
We don't know the gender yet, so if it turns out it's a boy, then it's it's like, well, you want him to be tough, right? So you start him
That's
early.
right.
Get him his own little baby weight
Bundle
vest.
him up.
Yeah, I love it. Well, curious for you as you think about just life and the season you're in. Where do you need prayers or encouragement? Is there anything we could be sort of lifting up on your behalf, or things we could reach out and encourage you on?
I'll say this. I know we talked about it a lot, but like this time of year, I think about the Kipes family. It was like my dad, Larry Legend's brother, or Farba's good friend, Mark Kipes, like, and then Nugent. It was like boom, boom, boom. And so like that group, there's a lot of people in like the South Omaha area that like were impacted. So like I think about old friends and what they're dealing with this time of year. So like Blue Hill Fall it's exciting, Husker football and all that moving in, but there's a lot of people that are carrying some heavy weight.
Sure.
So I say, look, if we could lift them up, that would be a big one. But no, that would be that's what.
And how about the hamstring or the
Dude? I almost said it, but I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. Just pray I could get through a half marathon on the 29th, but that's it. You guys might not see me for 3 months because I'll be in crutches after that. But
yeah, well, you'll have to do the brick
that
builder, right? You got to do that, and then brick builder right after. So
yeah, maybe I could proctor IPC or something.
yeah, there you go. Well, hey, I appreciate you, brother, and I think it's so cool to hear, every guy's got a story, but it's cool to hear your story and just to realize, the impact that each of us have. Right. I think it's just really cool, and just appreciate you as a man, as a leader. And yeah, thanks for your time today. And we got through the technology issues, right? So,
yeah, we did.
We did something right. Let's do a little name-rama here. I'll start us off. Brandon Flehardy, 38, The Plague.
Oh, Plague. Yeah, I'll say here before you Stranglehold.
Stranglehold. What's the call sign for Stranglehold?
Swiper these guys like to act like
they're like
with their neck, like yeah. Terrible.
Yeah. I love it. That's funny. Well, appreciate you, man. Have a good weekend.
Thanks a lot, Blake. You too, Blake.